The national champion is clad in big orange.
The pitch. Swing and a miss. That's the ball game. The national champion is clad in big orange.
At Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
Tennessee Volunteers have wrapped up an SEC outright regular season title. Connect with
the SEC runs through Rocky Top. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season crown for the 2nd consecutive season.
the 1-0. Indiana, right center field. Cross on the move. Walk it there. Tennessee walks it off. It's a mismatch. Deep three. Come on now. And don't connect. Rocky Draghi this time. Indeed. New hand clear. Down the middle. Got it. On the fly. It's high and again. And he's going to take it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Hey, how much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top, this is college football and it's got to be back.
It's college athletics at its absolute best. Welcome into the Vol Fanatics Show on a Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. We got a hybrid show for you guys. It's going to be a March Madness kind of special because, oh, how sweet it is. And we're going to be breaking it down, talking all about it. I am your host, Skylar, and my co-host, Michael. How are we doing on location tonight? So audio may not be as good, but that's okay. You're still here with us, and that's all that matters. Michael, how you doing?
That's right, man. I'm doing pretty good. Appreciate you working with me last night. Had some things I had to take care of at home. Just was not able to come on last night, but got to give a big shout out to my man Daryl at work here, who allowed me to come in here in this conference room and do this live, so we can get out some content this week before the Sweet 16. He's able to man it right now with most of our guys coming back to the station. So appreciate Daryl for that. But, man, how you doing, Skylar?
Man, I am doing all right. I think it's kind of funny. Last Monday, we had almost like a blizzard style of weather. And then Sunday, before the game, and actually we went during the game to watch, but we took the boat out. So on Monday, it's snowing. On Sunday, it was like 85 degrees, and we went to a marina to watch the basketball game. I got to tell you, welcome to Tennessee. It's just part of it. But no, we're going to do a hybrid show. Again, this is all about March Madness. Before we break down too much, I do want to let you guys know who helped us put this show on, and that is our presenting sponsor, P&L Business Services. We know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at P&L Business Services, we go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have your time back and the peace of mind to do what you love most, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper. Guys, if you feel like this is something that you may need, just go online to pnlbusinessservices.com and allow the fine folks out of Oak Ridge to get you taken care of. Now, we're going to do something a little different. We're just going to go ahead and read off all of our sponsors, and then that way we can just do nothing but content. So stick with me real quick. Our next sponsor is for usually segment 1, but we're going to go ahead and shout them out. It's Optimal Asbestos Services, your trusted environmental consulting firm in Knoxville, Tennessee, state licensed and insured. We specialize in asbestos air quality management for commercial buildings and homes. Contact Jeff Mull at Optimal Asbestos Services at 865-223-3297 or on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com. Again, guys, if you're about to do a big remodel on your home, I highly encourage you to reach out to this company just to make sure, especially if your home was built in the 80s or 90s, this guy can definitely make sure you have a safe environment and workspace for you and your family or your contractors that are going to be coming in to doing the work. We appreciate you, Jeff, for your continued support. And last but not least, for right now at least, we got Kaizen Painting. Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautiful painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with the personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in the Knoxville and surrounding areas, contact us for a free estimate at kaizenpainting.com. Color your life the Kaising way. Man, we really appreciate our sponsors so much. I'm sorry that was like 2 minutes if you're listening. You just want to get to the content. I completely understand. But, guys, I don't think y'all understand what they do behind the scenes to allow us to continue to do this on a weekly basis. And, yeah, we weren't able to go live last night, but that's okay. Michael called himself out. I wasn't going to do that. I was going to take half the blame because, by God, I'm too scared to come on here alone. But we are here. We are live, and we're going to talk men's basketball. Tennessee Football 247 in the chat, even though it's a Wednesday, he says, I said it's great to be a Tennessee Vol. Can't wait to see Tennessee beat Iowa State, hopefully. I love the confidence, but also the hopefully at the end. No, man, I tell you what, we've had our ups and downs this year, Tennessee Football 247. I know you specifically have kind of been up and very much down on this team, but I tell you what, I'm just going to get this out of the way, Michael. How sweet it is, not just for us to get to the Sweet 16, but more so who didn't get to the Sweet 16, Michael. Can you enlighten me on who those teams were?
I have no idea who those teams
You
were.
have no
Vanderbilt,
idea who I'm
Kentucky.
talking about. That's crazy. I think everybody knows Kentucky didn't make it, right? Like
Yeah,
everybody,
Kentucky
like,
didn't make it.
that's not news. And honestly, me and you kind of talked about when we were filling out our bracket, like, man, they're not making it. There's no way Tennessee and Kentucky are going to clash again. I think
They should have gotten beaten around a 64.
They were close, to be honest with you. That was a dogfight. I'll take Owe with a prayer 3 after.
Oh man!
After the other team, I can't forget the name of the team, but like they hit a 3
Santa
with.
Clara.
Yeah, Santa Clara hit a 3 with like 3 seconds left or 2.7 seconds left. What did you think, real quick? I know this is Tennessee show, but what did you think about the replay showing Santa Clara's head coach calling timeout and it wasn't granted?
You know, that's one of those situations where, I mean, the referees can only see so much, and especially with
you got to think how loud that arena was when he hit that.
Oh
3.
yeah, with how loud it was after they nailed that 3-pointer, you can't hear anything at that point. So unless you've got a referee literally either standing next to him or looking at the coach, you're probably not getting that timeout. It's kind of like, Rick Barnes last year against Alabama, whenever Jemai Meshack hit the game winner. Barnes was calling timeout right there before Meshack took the shot, and he just didn't get that timeout. It's just one of those things where unless you've got somebody literally looking there at the coach, you're just not going to get it. So
that's right.
Hindsight is always 20/20. It's unfortunate he wasn't able to get that timeout because who knows what happens at that point. Maybe Kentucky either doesn't get a shot off or they missed a shot. But, here we are. Kentucky's still out because they got dominated by Iowa State in a round of 32. So
that's exactly right. I think the biggest surprise of the weekend was the fact that Florida didn't make it past Iowa. And then obviously the third team we're talking about is Vanderbilt. And I can't remember who they lost to, but
they lost to Nebraska. And let me just tell you,
Nebraska
that was
looks okay.
Heartbreaking because that ball
from midcourt.
I know you watched it. That ball was literally in the rim. Like it was through the cylinder and then just hit a part of the rim and bounced out.
So it called bank, right? So when he heaved it from midcourt, the biggest issue with that shot, or the reason why it came out, is because he just hit dude, if he would have hit the backboard like 2 inches below where it hit, that ball is in the goal and or in the basket, and Vanderbilt won the game. But he just barely hit it too high on the backboard, which caused the ball to hit the front of the rim so hard that it then hit the back of the rim and then bounced out. That was tough, man. And Nebraska players right there couldn't even celebrate the win because they thought they just lost. That was crazy.
That was the thing, is both teams acted like they lost the game because the ball went in the basket and bounced out. So Nebraska was like, well, crap, we done lost.
Yep.
And then Vanderbilt was actually, over there upset about it because obviously it missed. I mean,
that's
right. That was a crazy situation there.
I tell you what, March Madness delivered in the first weekend, did it not?
It sure did. And it normally does. There wasn't any just huge upsets this past weekend, but
I would say other than Iowa. I would say other than Iowa over Florida.
Yeah. I'll give you that one.
There might have been one other one, but I mean, I just love that Florida went down. I hate that they went down so early for my bracket's sake, but my not so hot take on the number 1 seeds not making it back to the Final Four. was solidified in that moment. So,
Yep.
but no, enough about that. Let's talk about our Vols as their game 1 against Miami of Ohio. Michael, what did you think about? I mean, honestly, a dominating performance from our Vols in game 1 to really have a non like high pressure moment in round 1, which was awesome to see.
I just want to give credit to you for you know, jinxing the Vols into that dominant victory because, Miami of Ohio, they went up early
They
and
did.
they were knocking down threes. What was it, like 4 of 6 threes that they
I
knocked
think we
down in
were
the first
down by
few
like
minutes?
I think we were down 8 points when I texted you, and I don't think Miami of Ohio had missed a shot. And
It was something crazy
I
like
sent
that.
you a message to allude to what you're talking about. I sent you a message, and I was like, I've seen enough. We're cooked. Because,
then-
man, and then Tennessee, dude, they made the turn, and like defense stepped up on top. Man,
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about the defense because Rick Barnes has always been about defense, but I got to be honest with you, this men's team this year, the Vols, they've not been the greatest on defense this year.
They've still been good, but they haven't been to the
They've not
standards
been
that we've
dominant.
seen.
Yeah, they're not forcing the turnovers and not getting the fast break points that we're normally used to seeing under Rick Barnes. But I got to tell you, man, seeing Okpara guard outside the way he did against this team, was that not something special to see from a big man?
Oh, 100%. I mean, between that and then just the suffocating, defense that we saw from the guards out on the 3-point line, because that's how Miami of Ohio got into the tournament.
Right.
After, what was it, 19 threes or something crazy like that they made against SMU in the play-in game.
That's right.
Everyone was like, Tennessee's got a good defense, but they're 100% going to be tested in this game. And early on, it looked like it was going to be exactly what people thought. And then from there, I don't even know how many threes Miami made after that, but it wasn't many.
No.
And they could not compete inside with Tennessee's length and their physicality. And Tennessee just suffocated it from there. And then to go on top of that, you get Jacoby Gillespie, who was just on fire
Popping
and
off,
scored
man.
29 points in the game. Just fantastic game.
He would have had a better percentage if he wasn't just absolutely feeling it. Like, because he got to the point in the game where he was just pulling it from like 60 feet, brother. Like, I was just like, all right, come on now. Like, be a little bit smarter about it. But, when a guy's hot and he's that confident, man, shoot. You never know what's going to go down. I mean, that one shot he hit where literally the shot clock was at 0 and he just heaved it and it goes in. I was like, oh, man, this guy just cannot miss. It was a beautiful thing to say. And honestly, that kind of that I want to talk about a player that actually didn't have as good of a night, and that's Nate Ament. Obviously, coming off injury, a lot of talk about him playing, not playing. Well, he decides to play, but he gets you 0 points. But, Michael, that didn't matter because you had a pretty good bounce back from Amari Evans, who gave you 6 points, and then also Ethan Burke giving you 7 points off the bench, going 2 for 3 from three-point land. I know it's not a lot, but from two guys that had to play a lot more than they were probably expected to play. I mean, Amari Evans, 27 minutes, Ethan Bird, 23 minutes. But when you have Nate Ament, who's just not been able to give you much on the offensive side, I think it was really, really key to get those points off the bench from those two guys.
When you can get a dominant effort from Tennessee like they did in that game, and your second best player on the team gives you 0 points, that tells you what this team was doing that night.
That's right.
And people can sit here and say, well, it's Miami. It's a smaller school. You know what? They had lost one game in the season before
31,
coming into
32.
the Tennessee game.
32 wins, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
32-1, I believe, coming into that game. You can look at their schedule and say, well, they didn't play the best competition. It doesn't matter. You know how hard it is to win, to go undefeated through the regular season. Their one loss came in their conference tournament to the point where they ended up on the last 4 into the tournament.
That's right.
I mean, that's hard to do no matter what level you're on. So Miami was a very good team, and Tennessee just came out and dominated after that first 5 minutes of the game. So kudos to Tennessee for what they did on
Absolutely.
on what was it, Friday night.
Yeah, last thing I'll say on this, and one thing that I said was going to have to change for them to make a run, is this team shot 70% from the free throw line. And yes,
Yep.
I would love for that to be better, but if we're talking regular season to postseason, that's about a 15-point difference. I mean, this team was barely over a 50% free
It
throw
definitely
team.
seems like that.
Yeah, so really good to see. And then Felix Arpara and JP Estrella, man. We talk about playing inside out. Those two combined for 26 points, and 12 of 17 from the floor. I mean, Felix Arpara went 5 or 5 and made both of his free throws. And then JP he had 14 and 10. He had a double-double on the night with 10 rebounds. He did go 0 for 2 from the free throw line. So we can all blame JP Estrella on the 7 of 10, basically. No. But no, the inside out play, you were bigger than Miami of Ohio. You kind of knew. I mean, the way that game started, I don't even know how long it took us to hit a 3, but we were just kind of playing some bully ball, getting the ball inside, getting some dunks early. And then we started.
It's not that we weren't scoring early. It's just Miami was hot. They could not miss.
That's right. I mean, we were getting 2s and they were getting 3s. That's just the way it worked out for the first 3 minutes of that game. So, no, what a big win to send Tennessee to round 2, where they then played Virginia, the 3 seed. And, well, that one, Tennessee kind of led the entire way. But, boy, did it get dicey at the end, as we've seen this team so many times this year give up a lead in the second half. But this team was able to pull it out. Michael, why?
They were just grittier, man. They wanted it more than Virginia did. And you can also say you got some lucky calls from the refs. Okay, well, that's going to happen in every single game. But Tennessee, they just, not to say that Virginia hasn't faced adversity, because they have this season, but Tennessee has been in this situation so many times, and they just wanted it that much more that they said, we're not going to go through this again. We're not going to lose again. And you had a complete team effort from the people on the floor in this game. Jacoby Gillespie had 21 on the night, but you had 5 guys in double figures. Nate Ament was 16. Bishop Boswell, this is arguably the best game he has played all season long on the biggest stage that we have had all season. If it was not for Bishop Boswell, we lose this game.
Yeah.
So he had 13.
I'm gonna give credit to one more player. And real quick, just to finish up what you were about to say, I mean, Bishop Boswell had 13 points. He went 4 of 10 from the field, 4 of 9 from three-point range, but he also had 9 assists. Yep. So he was just the overall playmaker. He almost played as if he was the point guard. If we can get Boswell's defense and get that type of offense performance from Bishop for the next weekend, this team has every chance to make the Final Four. But I'm going to give credit to one more player, because honestly, I've been expecting a lot more from him for a while, and that's Jalen Carey.
Jalen Carey had a very good game.
Jalen Carey had to play 17 minutes, and I almost guarantee you he was not expected to play that type of time. But when your bigs, JP Estrella, getting 2 fouls early on in that game, you had to play him. And Jalen Carey is a dog. He's physical, and he gets rebounds, but one thing he cannot do is make a freaking layup. Like, he cannot finish at the rim, and he can't make his free throw. It's okay to miss a layup and get fouled if you can capitalize on the free throws. It's something Jalen Carey's not known for. But in this game, he went 4 of 5. He got you 10 points in 17 minutes. He got you a couple rebounds. Like, it was just such a great fill-in piece where he had to come in. He had to step up in that role, and he executed. Did a great job, and I'm giving him that credit. But to your point, this was the first time I've seen this team play complete. It just seemed like everyone was contributing for the first time all year, really. And that's what you love to see. Tennessee's playing right at the right time. They did have a couple of low moments, but like you said, man, this team was able to overcome it.
Yeah, and talking about those low moments, it was something different that we hadn't seen all season. A lot of times we've seen 4, 5, 6-minute droughts for Tennessee. In this game, it was more of like 2, maybe 2.5 minutes, and then they come out of that drought that drought that they had. So it wasn't a long extended period, and it seemed like every time Virginia would come back, Tennessee had an answer the way down to the end. And there's 2 shots in particular that I want to talk about that Tennessee needed, and if they did not get those shots, they probably end up losing the game. The first one comes from JP Estrella. We all know that JP's signature move, he's almost automatic on this, is you back somebody down, and he does off the left shoulder that little hook shot, the little baby hook. He's money with that. And Virginia knew this. And he got the ball on the left block. He started to turn left. It was shut off. Turned back right. And he didn't really fade, but went up
He
and
literally
took
hit a jumper.
like it was like an 8-9 foot jumper and nailed it.
He
And
did.
that right there, combined with a few possessions later, the 3-pointer that Bishop Boswell hit that hit every single part of the basket, I swear, between the rim, the backboard, and all that, and went in. Those
That's
were the
right.
two biggest shots of the game. And then, of course, you cannot go without saying how Jacoby Gillespie just iced the game down the stretch, knocking down, what was it, 4 of 4 from the free throw line in the last couple of possessions. He was 6 of 6 on the night from the foul line. Just, you can't ask for any more in clutch situations.
Abby tuning in on Facebook says, "Let's go, Vol Fanatics Show." We appreciate you so much for tuning in and listening to us, even if it's just for a little bit. But yeah, I think the key there, Michael, is this team again. Free throws. They shot 76% in this game. Again, another like 15 points better than like the regulars. It feels like they're shooting free throws at a lot better clip right now than they have been. And in this game in particular, they were perfect 6 for 6 in the final 2 minutes or whatever it was to ice this game away. It might even have been 8 of 8. I can't even remember. But yeah, the team, that shot to go ahead, really, you're a little lucky, but I'm gonna credit this to the defense. Virginia had plenty of layup opportunities that they could not finish. But Okpara played a really good defensive game. Nate Ament played probably his best defensive game, and he also gave you 16 points. That was huge. I mean, he forced, I think he had a steal, he had a block, 2 turnovers. He got you 4 rebounds.
He still didn't have his best shooting night, 4 of 11 from the field, but 7 of 8 from the foul line. I'll take that.
Yep. Yeah, the foul, again, as a team, you went 19 of 25. Jalen Carey going 2 for 5 is what killed the team's average. I mean, I hate to put it on one guy, but, I mean, essentially, you had 6 misses at a team, and 3 of them came from one person. Jalen Carey, again, a guy that I'm not dogging on him because he had one of his best games, but if he could just get to 50 or 60% free throw shooting, that would be a lot better because his type of play gets him to the line a lot. It doesn't make sense to get to the line if you can't capitalize on it. So I would like to see that improvement from him. But this game, we just talked about Ethan Berg, Amari Evans. They were non-existent in this game. Amari Evans played 14 minutes, got you 2 points. Went 0 for 1 at the 3-point line. I think he had he literally had a 2-point field goal. He went 1 for 3 from the field. He did get you 4 rebounds. But Ethan Berg, 6 minutes played, 0 for 1 from the field, and it was his lone 3-pointer. So those two guys, it's crazy how when 2 guys step up or when 1 guy steps up, it's always to fill in another role. When they're not playing as well, somebody else steps up. Tonight it was Jalen Carey. So, no, a big win sends the Tennessee Vols to the Sweet 16 as a 6 seed, defeating and upsetting the 3 seed. I guess I'm going to call it an upset. It's a 3 seed. I know the betting sports books, whatnot, had Tennessee as like a 1.5 point favorite, but this is absolutely an upset in everybody's bracket. I think only 25% of brackets had Tennessee going to the Sweet 16, so it's an upset. I'll take this. Yep. What a game this was for the Vols, and that leads into a matchup with number 2 seed Iowa State. Michael, what are your initial thoughts on this matchup?
So my initial thoughts, Tennessee can play with this team.
I think they can.
Now, having said that, this game does make me a little bit nervous for a couple of reasons. Now, one positive for Tennessee, Iowa State will be without their best player in this game, Joshua Jefferson. He's going to be out.
Is that confirmed?
That is big.
Is that confirmed?
I'm not going to say it's confirmed, but everything I have heard says that he will be out. But
I think he will be out too.
I'm not going to sit here and confirm anything without citing my sources. I don't have those sources, but everything I've heard, he will be out.
I think he will be out too. I think they're playing a little bit of gamesmanship by saying that, he's getting better, he's day by day, but I seen that kid get hurt and he couldn't put any weight on his ankle whatsoever. And he was in a boot in the second game for the round of 32 game. So I highly doubt that kid plays. But if he does, man, kudos to him. He's probably got 3 pounds of tape on that ankle. And at any rate, I don't think you're getting a 100% version of Jefferson. But either way,
So that's definitely going to hurt Iowa State on the boards.
Right.
He's a very good rebounder for them. Now, here's what makes me nervous. Iowa State has got some bigs that they can play at all three levels. One of those being, I'm going to butcher his name, but it's Milan Momcilovic, something like that.
Yeah.
I know I butchered the name, but averages 17.2 points on the season. He is a 49% three-point shooter on the season. 134 made field goals on 272 attempts. That dude is unreal.
Yeah.
And he can play at all three levels. He can play down low, he can shoot the mid range, but he's very good from deep. And this is an Iowa State team that's got a couple of guys that can do that. And we've got some good defenders, but Felix Hotpar and JP Estrella, they're not great perimeter defenders. And with bigs that can shoot as well as them, as these guys at Iowa State has, it makes me nervous because, you've also got to be prepared for them to drive. So you're going to have Felix and JP getting ready for that cut to the basket. And if they pull up, I feel like they're going to overcorrect one way or another. They're either going to go straight out onto the shooter and allow a shot fake and get right by them, or they're going to prepare for the drive and then all of a sudden they're just going to shoot over our bigs. So that's a big thing that makes me nervous about this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't realize that Momkovic, I have no idea how to say his name, so that's probably wrong. But, I mean, that dude's almost a 51.5% from the field type of guy, field goal percentage. And also 88% free throw shooter. This is all the ingredients to allow one guy to beat us. So, something to definitely keep an eye on. We're definitely going to need a full team effort from our team, man. I just, one thing I want to see is, I think they're going to really choke down Jacoby Gillespie. I think Iowa State's defense is pretty nasty. I think they're going to double team Gillespie and make him or get the ball out of his hands. I think when you allow Gillespie to dribble a little bit and kind of feel comfortable, moving around, I think that's when he is available to hurt you to either drive when he feels like there's a lane open or kick out and get an open three. I think that's Gillespie's type of ball. That's just the way he loves to play. Or off the pick and roll, lob it up and let Felix Ipara or JP Estrella go to work. I think it's not going to be that easy for Tennessee. I think Iowa State's going to do a good job holding them. I actually see this one kind of being a little bit lower scoring dogfight, but I think that favors Tennessee. The problem is I do think that if you have a rough night shooting wise, that's going to favor Iowa State. So Tennessee's going to have to figure out a way to scratch and claw to a 40 to 45% day from the field, and really contain this Momkovic guy. If I know that's probably not right, I'm sorry. That's just the best I can come up with. But they're going to have to contain number 22 in Iowa State, and if Jefferson plays, number 5 as well. But if they can contain those two guys, man, it's still not going to be easy. Iowa State's a 2 seed for a reason, but they're not unbeatable. They went 12-6 in their conference. Now, granted, their conference does include a 1 seed Arizona, a 2 seed Houston, a 4 seed Kansas, I think a 5 seed Texas Tech. Like, they had a pretty good conference as well. Very comparable, honestly, to the SEC. Maybe even a little bit. No, I think Big 12 only has 3 teams in the Sweet 16. Iowa State, Houston, and Arizona. Kansas lost, Texas Tech lost, BYU lost, I think. So yeah. But either way, they went 12-6 from the conference. They went 29-7 overall. They're not unbeatable, but Tennessee's going to have their hands full. Who are you looking for on our team to kind of, obviously excluding Gillespie? I think we all think that he's going to be our leading scorer. He has been for the majority of this year. But as we were stating in the first 2 games, you had one guy kind of take a step back, Nate Ament. You had 2 guys on the bench step up in that absence. Last game, you had a couple guys on your bench not step up, but you had one guy that hadn't played that well step up. So who do you think could maybe step up in this game that could really be a difference maker? I've got my answer, but Michael, I want you to go first.
I think it's got to be either Bishop Boswell or Amari Evans.
Yeah.
I feel like you've got to have especially Boswell to me, because he's going to have more time on the court as long as he stays out of foul trouble. But you've got to have him contribute scoring the basketball, whether it be driving to the hoop or knocking it down from long range. But
Yeah.
to further the point that you made earlier, that they're going to be trying to lock down Gillespie because they know that he's the playmaker. Everything runs through him, whether it be dishing the ball out or scoring. I think Boswell is going to have to play a significant role in handling the basketball in this game because they're going to be denying Gillespie, and they're going to force somebody else to have the ball in their hands. And that could be a detriment to Tennessee because they have not done well when pressured on ball this season. They don't have that true ball player or ball handler on the outside like they have had with Zakai Ziegler, like they had with Santi Vescovi, even going back to Jordan Bone. There's not that true ball handler on this team. So I think Bishop Boswell is number one. Number two, coming off the bench, is Amari Evans. He's going to have to play a big role. He's going to have to play that, just hair on fire type of game, that gameplay like he does every single time on the court. But he's also going to have to play under control because he's going to have to log some really important minutes, and he's got to make sure that they're good minutes and not just going out there giving somebody a breather and then, all right, going back to the bench. Those are my two answers for who's going to need to step up in this game.
Well, I love that. I only have one answer for this, but I'm not going to pick a starter because I do feel like Nate Ament has to have a game. Like, he can't just go out there. He's got to be able to funnel some of that defense on him, even if he doesn't have a great offense. Go ahead.
That's the number one answer is Nate Ament. He's got to step up and he's got to have himself a game.
Exactly, but I didn't want to pick a starter. But I do think the game plan is, even if Nate doesn't have a great game, be a distraction. Make them force the game plan of Iowa State to be centered around Nate and Jacoby Gillespie, because then it allows, and this is my answer, but it allows a guy like Amari Evans to come off the bench and have that type of game that he had earlier in the season when was it Nate Ament that was out, or was it Jacoby Gillespie that was out? I can't remember which game.
It was Nate Ament that was out. It was that Vanderbilt game at home, final game of the season.
And he popped off 20-plus points and looked like a ball. And the reason why I say it's Amari Evans is because I do feel like he is your best all-around athlete. I think the guy has handles. He's got speed. He can dunk the daggone ball. He can score from all three levels. So if he can get hot, I do think Boswell, if he ends up having another good game, it's because he's feeding off that fire that he got and that confidence that he built up in round two. But Amari Evans, after having kind of a disappointing game two, if he can come out and be so valuable off the bench, we know his skill set's there, and I think he'll be one of the biggest returning starters. And I say returning starters, but he'll be one of the best returning players next year's team for sure. I mean, I just love the potential this kid has. So I do think he is. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just think he's a box of potential just waiting to explode. I hope maybe it happens in this Sweet 16 matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the reason I'm not going to bring up a guy like Ethan Berg is because I feel like at this point right now, I
think he's shown you what he is.
Limited.
I think he's shown you what he is
at this point. Yes. Yep. He's limited with what he's going to give you at this point. Now,
if he popped off earlier in the year, like Amari Evans did for 25 or something like that, and you're like, oh, okay. But I mean, Ethan Berg's best game, I feel like, is maybe 10 points on the year. I don't know. Like, he hasn't shown us that he can be a capable scorer.
But also, I feel like if you give him another offseason at Tennessee to work through a lot of things, then my answer might be Ethan Berg, because I feel like the skill set is there. It's just the experience level is not quite there. Where I think Amari Evans, the skill set is there, and even though he doesn't have, he's got the same amount of experience at this level of ball as Ethan Berg does. I feel like he's developed faster, and he's got a better skill set right now than Ethan Berg does. So that's why I'm not going to go with a guy like Berg. I do think it's Evans, but we've got to have good play from basically everybody that steps on the floor. Gillespie's going to have to keep playing his game, and he's going to have to fight through a lot of stuff that Iowa State's going to throw at him.
If he's able to do that without turnovers, so like with that in mind,
that's the key in this game.
Iowa State forces turnovers.
Turn the ball over.
Yes, and Jacoby Gillespie's kind of prone to that. He tends to over dribble sometimes. He tries to penetrate the double team, and sometimes he loses the ball. So if he can do that though, it's going to be a lot of dunks coming from the Vols. It's going to be a lot of wide open big men in the middle of the floor.
Because I think once again in this game, I think you've got the better post play overall. Now, do
I
I
agree.
think Iowa State's bigs have better skills overall? Yes, I do. But when it comes to the overall post play, especially down low, the boards, just pounding the rock inside, I think Tennessee's got an advantage there.
If
Now,
they can
Iowa State's got the
continue,
advantage out. If things are out towards the 3-point line, Iowa State's definitely got a clear advantage there.
yeah,
But anything inside that painted area around the basket, I think Tennessee's got an advantage again.
yeah.
So I think it's just going to come down to the guard play, and if Tennessee can keep from turning the ball over.
Can't turn the ball over. They got to continue rebounding the way they have been, man. They've been leading the. I mean, honestly, they had a really good fight with Virginia. I think it was like 39 to 34 rebounds. But they did really good in the second half though, and the offensive board, the second chance opportunities. I think you're going to need them in this game. So Tennessee, Iowa State in the Sweet 16. Currently, ESPN gives Iowa State a 60.5% chance to win. And they are currently on DraftKings, because I'm seeing it right here, 3.5-point favorites with the over-under. Dude, I did not realize this. So Vegas wins money. Over-under set at 137. So even they believe this is going to be a little bit of a lower scoring game. They're maybe thinking like a 70, 73, 67 or 75, 70. No, that would be way too much. So yeah, I mean, yeah, 65, 70, I don't know. Like, even they believe this is going to be a little bit lower scoring game. And I do think that helps Tennessee. I don't know where your heart's at.
If it gets to I feel like this game will probably be the first team that makes it to 70 is going to win the ball game.
I think I agree
I
with
think if Iowa State
that. If
makes
they
it to
make it
70
to 70.
first, yeah, that too. But I feel like if the game gets to 70, whoever gets there first wins the ball game. If it's Iowa State, I don't know if Tennessee scores enough points, to be honest. But if Tennessee gets there first, that means that Tennessee is keeping Iowa State
With at
lower
arm's length.
score.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that Tennessee, I think it favors Tennessee at that point. But I do think that it's the first team to 70 in this one. So I 100% agree. If it's low scoring, this favors Tennessee. But if it turns into some sort of shootout, this is not Tennessee's game. Iowa State is going to win that one.
I think I agree with that. I mean, it breaks my heart. In my bracket, I do have Tennessee falling to Iowa State in the Sweet 16.
I do as well.
Just didn't think that this team's consistent enough to win this many games in a row. They have shown me something here as of late that kind of changes my mind because of the free throw shooting and the way they've been able to close out games, especially the way they did against Virginia. But Iowa State, man, that's still a tough matchup. I think this is a weird game where I feel like we're a bad matchup for Iowa State, but I also think that Iowa State's a bad matchup for Tennessee. And that's just a weird way to put it. And I just don't know who's going to win that battle. It's going to be a tug of war. I was a little nervous about Tennessee maybe falling in this game or like trailing in this game, but they show me now, especially against like Ohio, where they go down almost double digits early and they were able to claw their way back and dominate that game. So I feel a little bit more comfortable now if Tennessee were to be down by 6 or 8 to 10 points early. I don't want them to be, but they have at least showed me that they're not going to fold, okay? So this team's going to fight. They love each other. I think one thing that sets this team apart is the off-the-court camaraderie that this team has, the love that they have for each other. I don't know if you've seen some of the post-game clips, the interviews and stuff like that. For instance, excuse me, have you seen the players' interviews?
Yes, I have.
So on their sports page, they literally have Felix Akpara being interviewed like a sports broadcaster by another player. And like Nate Ament brings up the fact that Felix Akpara gets dunked on by a freshman, aka Dwayne Brown. And he was like, how's that going to reflect in game time? What's that going to do? And Felix Akpara replies with, that was AI, don't worry.
Yeah.
So they love joking up with each other. Obviously, this is after a win, so it's easier to do that. But I think just the amount of love that this team has for each other, they want to play another game, to play with their brothers, to play for Rick Barnes even. That is something that's really cool to see. That restores hope in me, thinking that this team isn't just doing it for money. I think this team really loves each other. I think they love the game of basketball, and I think they really are chasing a Final Four. First one in basketball or Tennessee's history.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, ultimately in this game, as we mentioned a couple times, it's going to come down to turnovers. If Tennessee can take care of the ball and they can make the most out of their possessions, Tennessee's got a chance. But if they start turning the ball over, because that was the difference in the Kentucky-Iowa State game in the round of 32. Kentucky had that game in hand going into the second half. And all of a sudden, Iowa State's lockdown defense forced Kentucky turnovers.
Oh, yeah.
And it went from a 10 to 15 point Kentucky lead to a 20-point Iowa State blowout in a matter of, 10 minutes of game time.
Kentucky went cold, though, man. Like, I want to credit a lot of that to Iowa State, and I mean, I'm going to. Kentucky went cold. Like, they went cold. But, man, I'm excited for this matchup. I think it's going to be a good one. One thing I didn't mention is take your nap, because the game doesn't start until 10 Eastern. And with it being tournament play, it could be 10:30 Eastern. So,
honestly, it could be 11 Eastern.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, what do you think about that start time on a Friday? It is a Friday night, but folks like you, man, you got to get up and go to work on Saturday.
Well, luckily I do have Saturday off because we're actually doing my son's Easter egg hunt at church that day. But still, that's yeah, I'm gonna have to get up early that morning. But you can't help how they end up making the times. You just got to kind of roll with it. And you know what? This dad is going to be up late on Friday night, and if the son, if he decides to wake up, he might just watch the game with me until he falls back asleep. So, we'll see what happens there.
Amen to that. Obviously, we're both rooting for our Vols. I don't care that my bracket has Iowa State. And in fact, the way I look at it, I'm hedge betting it. Like I would definitely feel a lot better if my bracket busted because Tennessee won than if any other team.
Well, let me just say it this way: the way that I feel about it, when my bracket gets busted, meaning as soon as the first team that I've picked loses, I'm rooting for nothing but chaos.
There you go.
In this case, I lost the very first game.
So you're perfect bracket or nothing.
Yes. Yeah, I'm rooting for chaos from there if I don't get the perfect bracket.
I'm going to give some chaos credit to Texas. We talk about no big upsets. That was another one. I knew there was another one on the tip of my tongue that I just couldn't think of, but I had Texas making it to the round of 32 out of the first 4. And I felt kind of crazy doing that. But then they even made me look way better when they made it to the Sweet 16 or whatever they did. So shout out Texas.
We kind of, let's kind of go over to the bracket talk on this.
Yeah.
Because we probably should have picked Texas to come out of there, or whoever won that game between Texas and I forget who they played in that first 4 game, but it seems like every single year there's an 11 seed that comes out of the first 4 that at least makes the Sweet 16. And I knew it wasn't going to be either Miami or SMU, whether it be Tennessee beating them or Virginia beating them in the round of 32.
No. They're the first team. They're the I think the 6th team in the history of the tournament to go from the first 4 to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, and we've seen how some of those other teams do. VCU, they made it all the way to the Final Four.
Yeah. Tennessee did it in 2014.
They did, didn't they? Yeah.
They did.
Made it to the Sweet 16 under Lonzo Martin.
Give me my credit.
Yeah, credit to you for that one. I mean, there's been numerous
Syracuse
teams
did it.
A
couple other teams that I'm kind of blanking on, but yeah, VCU did it. But Texas, man, they beat BYU, beat Gonzaga, which hurt me, man. I had Gonzaga going to the Elite 8, but that's okay. That's okay, man. All right, real quick. We're going to talk a little bit about Tennessee's side of the bracket. Like I said, I brought up that because I think we're both pulling for Tennessee.
Yep.
I get it that we've got Iowa State moving on, but I think we both want Tennessee to move on. That leaves in that Elite 8 matchup, Alabama versus Michigan on the other side. Am I crazy to think that not only am I rooting for it, but I think it could happen? Could Alabama have an upset in store here, even without their second best player on the roster?
You want a hot take?
Yeah.
I think Michigan blows Alabama out.
I like to hear that, actually.
I think this is a terrible matchup for Alabama. Michigan is a team that they're up and down the court, which benefits Alabama, but Michigan has got the bigs to dominate down low, and they're also a very good 3-point shooting team. Where Alabama, they are live by the three, die by the three, and they've
And
lived by it in the first.
transition. They do really
Yes,
good at But you're
and
not worried
transition.
about it at all, huh? Michigan's that dominant to you.
I
They are a good
think
team.
that
I mean, they're a 1 seed for
I
a reason.
think Alabama has lived by the three, and they've won with it in the first two games against Hofstra and Alabama or in Texas Tech. And I think this is where it comes to bite them at this point. I think Michigan is too good overall. I think they're going to have a good defensive plan for Alabama shooters, and I think that Michigan rolls by probably 20 plus in this game.
So Michigan struggling against Howard in the first match doesn't scare you. Now, granted, I think you're right. Alabama's gone back-to-back 90 bombs, and they've won pretty easily, to be honest with you. I mean, they beat Hofstra by 20. They beat Texas Tech by 25. They won very easily. Michigan beat Howard by 21, but they gave up 80 points. They also beat St. Louis. I said beat Howard, right? They beat Howard by 21. Yes. They beat St. Louis by 23, 95-72. They're giving up some points. Don't get me wrong, but you think this is going to be a little bit more of a lopsided match, huh? Is it because Alabama goes cold, or is it because Alabama just can't stop Michigan? Like, what's your take there?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that Alabama is not going to be able to stop Michigan, and I think that Alabama is going to start forcing stuff instead of, do they run offense very much? Not a lot, but they do run some kind of offense. They try to look for an open shot, and they're not afraid to take it. But I think Alabama goes cold because they start forcing things that they don't need to at the time, and I think that they just can't stop Michigan. I just think it's a bad matchup for Alabama in this game.
Right on. So that would hopefully put Tennessee versus Michigan in the Elite Eight, and boy, would that be a tough stretch for Tennessee, as they would then have to have beaten the 3, 2, and the 1 seed to make it to the Final Four. Man, I'll tell you what, if they are able to do that, that would be one of the most well-earned Final Fours of any team. I'll tell you. Because not a lot of teams that make the Final Four have that type of stretch, because typically they are the 1 seed or they are the 2 or the 3 seed. But a 6 seed having to go through the 3, 2, and 1 of their region, if it so be it, Tennessee would undoubtedly have one of the most battle-tested teams of the Final Four. Man, that would be awesome, but we got to take it one game at a time. They got Iowa State coming up Friday evening, late evening, 10 o'clock Eastern. Be sure to be tuned in. We wanted to give you guys this episode. I understand it's not Tuesday. We apologize about that. But, man, Michael, I appreciate you being able to come on and talk about this, because it's an important week for Vol basketball. But, Michael, you got anything in closing as we wrap it up here on this Wednesday edition of the Vol Fanatics Show?
I do want to give one mention to another sport, Tennessee football. Make sure that if you do want to go to the orange and white game, it is free to get in, but you do need to go to the Tennessee Vols app, go to the website, and make sure that you do claim your tickets. So make sure that you do that. Yes, they do.
This will be the first orange and white game I can remember that A is free, and 2, I don't think there's a seating restriction.
There's not.
I went to the orange and white game like 2 or 3 years ago, and like you could literally only sit in like one of the end zones. Like, that was crazy. A while. This is the first time that they haven't had some sort of construction going on in quite some time for the orange and white game. So, yeah, make sure you do claim your tickets if you're going to go. Orange and white game is Saturday, April the 11th. Gates open at 1 o'clock. The game is at 2. Yeah,
so
I won't be going.
Make sure you go.
I'm joking. I'll go if you want to go. I'll take you on the boat if you want.
Hey, I'm going. I've already claimed my tickets.
I'm taking a second screen, though, because it is Masters Week.
Oh, that's Masters weekend. Yeah, had to remember that. But,
I mean, nothing comes before Tennessee, baby. So,
me, my wife, and little man will get to see his first Tennessee game. Granted, it is a spring game, but we'll be going up there. I think my father-in-law is going with us too to watch it. So we're gonna have a
one thing from spring. Actually, I do have some insight on is we do have our first significant injury of spring practice. David Hobbs. Man, that kid just cannot stay healthy. I hope he takes the time off. He gets healthy. He's one of the biggest veteran presence we have on the defensive line, the interior defensive line. So really need him to get healthy. He is already confirmed he's out for the spring. Probably going to be out for the summer. The way this coaching staff has always handled injuries, they always seem to hold a guy out longer than they initially say. So I just hope that he's back for fall camp.
If it's something that requires surgery, get that done now. Don't wait. Go ahead and get that done.
Give him the 3 months to recover so that
Yes.
he's back for the fall camp. Yep. Because most surgeries are, 9 to 12 weeks recovery, or 6 to 9 weeks recovery. ACL is obviously a different animal, but I don't think he tore an ACL.
No,
it's something ankle related.
Foot.
Yeah, foot. Yeah. So no, that is some news I have. Also, your boy will be attending a practice right before the spring game. So I will give you guys absolutely none of the inside scoop on that, because
so we will have the Tennessee practice report before the spring game. There we go.
I'll tell you who the starting quarterback is on April 8th. No, I'm joking. No, it is actually so fun to watch those practices. So no, I cannot wait to go attend that again, and I will absolutely tell you guys what I'm seeing, but I can promise you right now I don't think anything's going to be breaking news here.
No, absolutely not. It's spring.
I just want to see Deshaun Bishop's abs again, brother. Last time I went to see a practice, that dude looked like a robot. I was like, God dang, dude, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, one thing that I am looking forward to you giving us feedback on is how the strength and conditioning has changed some of these players, because I've heard a lot of good things about Tennessee's new strength and conditioning coach from players, from from other coaches, from some of the media that gets to go to these practices. I've heard a lot of good things. So
I think the biggest thing for this team is it's just something different. I think this team on the conditioning side kind of fell into that habitual kind of like just get through the day, get through the workout type of mentality. I think this coach, this strength and conditioning coach, has been able to change that mentality and actually have a goal set each week for these kids to achieve. And I think that has definitely helped flip the mindset, almost making it more of a competitive aspect, but also get better at the game, right? I think that's a big thing. We get so lost in transition of weight room versus the game that weight room can kind of take away from the game. I mean, just because you're big and you got bigger muscles and bigger shoulders, but now you don't run as fast, what good was it to get that big? Or vice versa. What if you lost a little bit of muscle and you can run faster, but now you've lost that power to be able to drive through a tackle or break a tackle or make a tackle? Either way, it kind of works hand in hand. This strength and conditioning coach is finding a way to maximize both strength, speed, agility, all of it. I think it's going to be awesome. Michael, it's getting late. I know you got to get out of here. The Lady Vols, we'll touch on them another day. They had a rough go at it, but I don't think anything was really surprising. I do like the fact that they fought till the end. I do like to believe that they did, because, man, they got punched in the mouth in the first quarter. But they did fight back. I'll give them that credit. But I don't think really any of us were surprised by that outcome with the way the season has gone. So not going to light a torch there. But Matt tunes in, says, go Vols. We have a little frenzy in the chat all of a sudden. Rhonda says, good evening. I'm so late. Go Vols. That is okay. We did a hybrid version just about March Madness. So I really encourage you to just go back to the front of the video and rewatch this, as it is a shorter show. Matt says, what's up, Rhonda? And Rhonda says, what's up, Matt? We love them. It's our regulars. We appreciate y'all being tuned in on a Wednesday. Again, Michael called himself out. I wasn't going to do that, but I just did it again anyways. We appreciate y'all being tuned in.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. You could have gone on by yourself, but you're not.
No, I agree.
You don't know the background side of things.
You are my producer, Michael. I fully buy into that. You do all the mechanics, the physics, I don't know. Like, you're an animal with this, and I love that you do that. And then I just talk a lot. So no, I appreciate you so much for everything you do. I appreciate our listeners for being tuned in. We're going to head out. Y'all be sure to get a nap in on Friday evening so that you can watch the game. And by God, go Vols, baby.
Go Big Orange.